This
All right,
conference will now be recorded.
6 o'clock on February 20th. We'll start the zoning board meeting. We have just one case this evening, and it's case 24-02, Mr. Ian Handel. And if you wouldn't mind going up to the mic over there and then just kind of reading your application into the record and then giving us a description of what's going on. And
Reading everything?
yeah, it's a bit cumbersome, but if you can read your application,
Sure.
it just puts it into the record here. The 5 questions, yeah.
Okay, on the front page.
Leanne, his red light's not on. Should it be
There's a little button on the front of the mic on the base.
on the base?
He is on.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Sorry, we got a little light on.
So maybe just give a brief description.
So,
You wanna answer the question?
I recently bought the 8-unit property at 249 Main Street, just literally right there. And it came with a barn in the back, and I have no use for the barn. I tried to rent the barn. Nobody wanted to rent it, but people wanted to buy it. So I thought that it would be better for me, it would be better for the community, it would be better for the town through tax revenue if that barn was subdivided and I could sell it to somebody who would utilize it more than me, which I don't do anything with it.
Okay.
So granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because it would create a new taxable commercial lot. This lot is already existing and no change will occur to the footprint of the lot or to the neighborhood. The neighboring properties are already non-conforming small lots. There's like, I believe, 3 other small houses right behind this, right, and also a parking lot too. This is a dead-end street, so the impact on the larger community will not occur. Any commercial use of the barn will have low impact on the neighbors because traffic will not increase. The barn has 2 parking spots on Mechanic Street, so parking won't change. This is a commercial barn, and there are several commercial properties directly in the vicinity. If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because the barn would fit in with the current neighborhood, existing of small lots and commercial properties. The barn already has road frontage on Mechanic Street, and the variance is only to subdivide the barn from the existing lot. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because, as it stands, existing commercial property on Mechanic Street is being underutilized for both the neighborhood and the town. I'm being taxed on the property, on the barn that's not being used, and this would be better utilized for the town and community if subdivided and sold to somebody else who can use it. If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished because currently the barn is not used and is vacant. Subdivision and utilization of this lot would only increase surrounding property because the lot is already abutted by commercial lots and non-conforming small lots. Through subdivision, the lot will become more valuable, putting it in use and being maintained. The lot will also become a separate taxable lot. And number 5, you want me to start at A? Where do you want me to start?
Yeah, at A, please.
Owing to a special condition of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because currently the lot is being underutilized. I'm paying taxes on the lot and I'm not using the lot, and it is not benefiting the community or the neighborhood. If subdivided, the new lot created would not be different from the abutting lots. The lot's footprint will remain the same. It will only become a taxable lot, benefiting the community through taxes and the beneficial use to the community. You keep going, right?
Yes.
The proposed use is a reasonable one because the abutting lots are already non-conforming and are similar size to the proposed lot. Subdividing this is a win-win-win. It would relieve me of a hardship in paying tax on a lot I am not utilizing. It benefits the town by creating a separate taxable lot, and it benefits the community by allowing more industry in an already commercial zoned area. There are little to no downsides because the footprint will remain the same. It will not impact parking, and a vacant building will be utilized. Explain how the criteria if subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if and only if, owing to special conditions of the property, they distinguish it from other properties in the area. The property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. It will allow the property to be utilized while it is currently not used at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for context here to get everybody on the same page, and correct me if I get this wrong, please, Leanne. So the variance isn't for a non-conforming lot because there basically are almost no requirements for a lot in the village district. As long downtown district,
Downtown.
apologize, yep, downtown district. If you have sewer, which there's sewer at that lot, correct?
Yes, yes, there is. It goes down Mechanic Street because there's 3 houses behind there that are connected to that sewer. So it
So
must
no
be
minimum,
there.
no minimum lot size if you have sewer. There are no minimum road frontages. There's no setbacks. There's no lot requirements for a downtown lot, just so that everyone has the context. But what the variance here is for is that it's an accessory structure. The barn being an
The
accessory
current
structure.
barn would be an accessory structure as I recognize it, and therefore you can read the ordinance that.
Yeah, I totally agree with your interpretation. An accessory structure is one that is customarily incidental and subordinate to the principal building on the property and is physically detached to the principal building. Accessory structures must be on the same property as the building or use to which they are an accessory, including but not limited to a garage, workshop, garden, shed, gazebo, carport, pool house, or cabana. Other structures may also be considered accessory structures. That's a context of where that comes from there. If you guys got questions, please. Yeah.
So basically, right now, the barn that is on that particular lot is an accessory structure.
That's what I
However,
would-
if it were to be subdivided, it would then become the primary structure on a separate lot, which then would place it under requiring water, septic, and the rest of it of all those things. I guess my concern here is that when I'm looking under a hardship, I believe, in my opinion, after reading this, what the real hardship is for you personally is that you're paying taxes on it and it's not being utilized, but that the fact that it might benefit the community or create more tax dollars is not really a hardship to you. That's just that you're saving, and I think you probably are paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 a year
Mm.
in taxes on that barn or
Okay.
on that part of the property.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that that is a real hardship. However, I'm done.
Thank you.
So does it have electric and
It
water?
doesn't.
Nothing.
It doesn't. But I got a quote to put it in. It was $4,000.
There's not even any electricity to it.
Nope. There's I got a quote from I believe his name was Greg Carter. Definitely his last name was Carter. He's an electrician locally. Yeah. And he expressed interest to me to purchase it. Josh. Thank you. That's right. That's right. He was interested in purchasing it, putting electric in it, using it as his shop. I think somebody could utilize it. It's a nice barn. It's pretty good. You can put cars in it. It's got a strong floor. It's got a second floor. I think it needs to be shored up. I wouldn't put heavy things on the second floor without it being, just shored up a little bit.
Would this be even a variance if the building didn't exist? Is the building the thing that is making this? I mean, if this was a vacant lot or a backside of his lot and he wanted to subdivide the lot,
Yeah, I don't see anywhere in the ordinance that I could, or the planning board would have to review the subdivision, and they will if you were to approve this. But there's no ordinance that I interpret that disallows the subdivision.
thank you.
Except it may be a accessory building.
Right, that's the only thing
Making it.
It's building is what's making it.
right.
What would it?
Is
Sorry.
it the use of the building, Leanne? Because if it was an apartment, if there was a toilet in it and a bedroom upstairs, then it would potentially not be an accessory building.
Sure, and I'm just interpreting the same ordinance that you have. I don't write the ordinance, so I mean, you can read it. That's why I gave it to Matt, and it's up to this board to determine, what is allowed and not allowed and how to enforce that ordinance. I interpreted it, as Matt explained, that, right, if they put sewer and water and make it a primary structure,
Mhm.
then it's a primary structure. But right now, it's not a primary structure, it's just a barn. And
To-
it's an accessory to the primary and must be on the same property. So that's why they came for a variance.
Does it have a foundation?
Yes,
It
has a
does, yeah.
concrete foundation. hmm To be a primary structure, does it need to have water and sewer and electric hooked up to it?
That would be my understanding.
I believe so, yes.
To be subdivided, or like if somebody bought it and then turned it into something, then they would have to do it. Like, how, where does that happen?
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say,
Well, what I really mean is like, does it need to happen before someone was interested, or would it happen, after someone purchased it and then went to get permitting to do their business there? Like that was when it would have to happen, or?
it kind of would have to happen here. I think. I mean, ultimately, if my interpretation is the same as everyone else's, if this building had water and sewer and was a standalone structure, it would no longer be considered an accessory structure, and this meeting wouldn't be happening. But because it doesn't have those things,
Mm,
we're here.
okay.
Everybody
Yeah,
agree with that?
I agree with that. And we couldn't put restrictions on it that it has to have that in order to be subdivided.
Well, if we put
I think we
restriction,
could.
Yeah,
if we put the restrictions.
if
on
we
that, it
put
would
the
just be-
restrictions on.
Well, then you could just do the subdivision. You wouldn't need us at all.
If he had the things that the restriction required, he
Right.
wouldn't need it.
Right.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Right.
Right. So
What does the restriction say?
So it's an accessory structure. So this is a little bit where the interpretation gets gray, and it doesn't have electricity, it doesn't have running water, it doesn't have a bathroom. So it's a
Mhm.
barn exists for the original building,
Uh-huh.
and you can't have a lot with just an accessory structure on it.
Sure.
So that's the hang up.
Mm. Well, okay, but somebody couldn't, let's just say we're a mile down the road and there's a small lot and all it has on it is a 2-car garage.
Ideally, that lot wouldn't exist unless it existed prior to the zoning laws happening.
Okay. Okay.
Or there might have been a fire or demolition to the primary residence.
Sure, yeah.
Happened further over on West Main. So there was a garage, but that's gone now too.
Okay.
Because this board has heard similar cases of putting accessories
Accessory
on.
building.
Structures on is the sole building on a lot, yeah. Yeah. And the hang up is pretty much sewer is really, I mean, obviously with sewer comes running water, but having bathroom facilities is kind of
Hmm.
I don't know. You guys have any other questions for him?
I'm all set. Oh, well,
I'm just new here. Can I just?
Yeah, we're about to move to public comment, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit of formality. We will now open up to public
I
comment.
don't know what the procedures
Yep.
are, so that's.
You just have to go up to the mic and identify who you are.
Gotcha.
You're good to go now. We were
You-
literally
Well, my
moving to that
question was
spot.
for more for him.
You just still have to go to the mic and identify who you are and
And address Matt, he's
Yeah.
the chairman.
yeah, poke it this way and then we'll do the
All right, Matt. My name is David Lynch. I own DGD Builders right across the road. Only reason I'm here is I heard encroachment, and I just wanted to make sure my stuff over there was okay. From what you're saying, what I gathered, which again I don't know, is that barn abutting your property, or is it like a little bit down the way, not touching your structure?
You just gotta ask up this way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
no,
Oh, sorry. But look at him.
Look this way.
Okay. I just want to know if that barn is actually connected to. I know exactly the building he's talking about.
It is the same lot right now. Yeah, they are not
Same
physically
lot, but they're
connected.
not physically connected.
No, there's.
Right.
If I had to guess,
Do you want to see
there's a few feet of space.
I'll.
3 to 4 feet between the building and the.
They're not physically touching.
Okay, and this is then the barn is the almost 3,000 square foot building? Oh, sorry.
yeah, no problem.
Bear with me, guys. I apologize.
No worries.
The barn is the almost 3,000 square foot structure,
Yes.
and that's the footprint,
The footprint of it.
3,000 whatever square feet.
Well, it looks like a rectangle, so whatever that math checks out to be.
Okay.
I don't believe it's 3,000 square foot barn.
Okay.
I have.
That's counting the second floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I still don't think so.
We don't have a-
Okay, well, again, guys, I may be wasting your time here with my questions.
No,
Again,
you're
I
not.
don't, I
You're
don't know. I am a builder, so I guess my question would be if he could subdivide, could he potentially drop that building and build on it?
Yes.
Or build on it and connect down the line that sewer, electric and all that and make that maybe a financial, rental apartments.
Put a house there.
A house,
Or
you get one family out of a house, you get many out of apartments. But yes,
Yeah.
same idea.
Yes, that would, yeah, the lot isn't this is a little funny, the lot's not the issue.
Right.
It's the building on the lot that is the issue. But you can have a building on the lot.
Right.
It's just this particular building
Gotcha.
on the lot.
All right, that's enough for me.
If he put electric and sewer in the barn, he could then subdivide and make it its own
And
thing
without coming here.
without us at all.
Right, okay,
Yeah, so we're just deciding if it can be its own thing without electric and sewer.
gotcha. All right. Okay.
And in the downtown district, there is no setbacks.
Any other public comment? Yep.
John Scanlon, Main Street, Tilton. One question, I think it was stated that there are 2 parking spaces presently on that for the property now.
It
Is
was
that correct?
stated, yep.
Yeah. So one of the big concerns, as we all know, in Tilton is parking. Presently, when we do put in for apartments or apartment additions, we require 2 per apartment. Those 2 parking spaces can be utilized for the 8 units in that building. By removing this lot, you're removing 2 parking spaces that could be used by the tenants that are presently living on that lot. And therefore, it is detrimental to the neighborhood in that we have a serious parking issue. As you all know, we recently lost additional parking up the street. We're kind of all jammed up here with parking. So I think that does meet the conditions of detrimental to the neighborhood, less parking.
Thank you.
The other part of that is that if there is a business there, it'll be also needing additional parking. Perhaps 2, there's only 2 people, but we don't know what kind of business will end up be there. And there could be more. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just for information for the board, the square footage of the barn is 720. It's pretty small.
Footprint.
Right, the footprint.
Thank you. Well, good, you guys. Good if we close public comment? Go on from that? Yep. Yeah.
Nobody online, you don't, I don't see.
I don't see any names online. Luca, there is one name. But their mic's off. All right, we'll close public comment. Any initial thoughts?
What was the structure used for previously? Because just a garage bay in the downtown area is something like $20 to $100 a month. So I wondered what the historical use might have been, because he's saying that there's a hardship that he can't rent it. But to my knowledge, every garage bay is at least 20, if not $100, because it's covered. Parking space is like $20.
I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let him answer the question.
Thank you.
Technically, we'll close public comment. We'll let him answer the question.
So the gentleman I bought this from, Dennis Belair, it was in his family since 1954. And it wasn't utilized. I mean, it was utilized as storage, his personal storage. That's what he utilized it for. So it was it continues to be underutilized, right? It was his personal storage. As far as ability to rent it, I put a blue sign up in front of the house in the grass for months. I put multiple newspaper ads. I put online ads. I put Facebook. I got a couple of people interested. I lowered the price multiple times. I probably spent 6 to 7 months doing this, and I never got it. This electrician was the only person who expressed interest. There were a couple of interests, but nobody got further than just a basic inquiry, you know. And this electrician, he went a little bit further, and and he almost did rent it. I thought he would, and then he didn't, but he wanted to buy instead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So the two things I've got is, I believe it's an accessory building. And, yeah, that's it, that it's an accessory building. So I don't think it, would comply to subdivide it.
Yeah, I guess where I look at it is, in order for me to get on board with this, he'd have to do the things that would make him not have to be here to begin with. So we would be in this circular loop of doing the things you needed to do to not come to us anyways. I don't know what other people's thoughts are on that. I agree it's an accessory structure, and personally would only be behind it if it was brought up to not be an accessory structure. And then this is all.
That's kind of where I am. Plus, Chuck mentioned that I don't think he's really demonstrated a hardship. The hardship seems to be from the town not getting tax money for it, not necessarily on his part, because it's something that could be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, why do you guys feel it needs sewer to be separated? Like, what, I'm just trying to think of it practically. Like, if it's a shop where an electrician goes there in the morning, grabs the stuff and goes.
Well, from what I understand, the ordinance in the town is it can't be an accessory building. In order to make it a primary building, it's got to have water, sewer, and electricity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I personally
No.
care if somebody has a building but the zoning law says you can't have a lot with just an accessory building on it.
Yeah.
And so that's
I don't know right now if he could rent it to the electrician the way it is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if those rules are that.
So if we're gonna move it we're gonna move in a direction away from conforming, usually we move in a direction that improves whatever is there in a we're moving away from, not that it's not conforming, it's not the right word, but if we're gonna take a lot that's already weird and it's already wonky, my personal opinion would be behind it to move it towards something that would be a standalone lot, but then we're not even here. I guess it's but I'm only one person, so thoughts? No? Would somebody like
Go through
to
the criteria.
go through? I was to say, would somebody like to start to go?
Yeah, I'll start the criteria.
Okay.
Sure. Right at number one, right?
Right, number one, granting the variance.
Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because, maybe I should change my glasses.
I know it's printed for
Create
You-
new,
You don't have to reread his. Just your thoughts on number one, where you stand.
oh, you don't have to reread?
Nope.
Oh.
We haven't been doing that. We've just been stating our
Oh.
stance on each of the five.
Okay. So then just move right on to number two?
No, how do you feel about number one?
Oh, I think it would be a public taking away a couple spots from the apartment building.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Chuck, you want to do number two?
If you can have somebody else, because my glasses, I just put my glasses away.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll go down
Want to
to
do number
this
two?
one. If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because, and I would not see that because it's an accessory structure, and it would remain an accessory structure without, on a primary lot.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. But
Yeah.
anything that would make it, maintaining the spirit of the ordinance would remove our need to be here.
Yep.
Want to do number three?
Yeah, I think granting the variance would do substantial justice because as it stands, existing commercial property at Mechanic Street is being underutilized.
You don't have to read that. You just have to
Yes.
state out your feelings on.
I guess I agree that it is being underutilized, but yeah, I think so. He's being taxed on the property.
I'm with you. I do think that granting the variance would do substantial justice to this particular
Yep.
one. It would make the lot a little more usable.
Yeah.
But
I agree as well. I think the building is being underutilized at this point.
I'll do number four. If the variance are granted, the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished. There's no demonstrable evidence of either hurting values or increasing values there. Do you want to finish up?
Number 5, unnecessary hardship, owning a special condition of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. Denial of this variance would result in unnecessary hardship because. You want to read the next one? We'll talk about it.
You
No
can start
fair.
with one. You can start with one
Yep.
and two.
No, yep, no fair or substantial relationships exist between the general public proposed of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision of the property because, you want me to talk about it now or?
Sure,
Yeah.
just your feelings.
My feeling is, yes, the town is not getting taxes on it, but that's not a hardship for the owner. So I don't believe it. My opinion is he hasn't shown hardship.
I think that the literal definition of like, are we literally enforcing the purpose of this ordinance in the way that there's a way to get where we can enforce the purpose of the ordinance and give the variance, but again, we'll be right back to not having to be here. And so it's kind of pointless, and it just makes it pointless. But that's my feeling on that. Everyone else on there? Everyone else good?
Yeah.
And then the number 2.
The proposed use is a reasonable one because the building is there and it is being unutilized. So in that aspect, I think you could get more use out of the building.
Yeah, I agree. It's a proposed, reasonably proposed use, but
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I think it would be great if he was able to get someone to lease or rent it and get more use out of it. I have sympathy for you on that end.
We have to do a motion,
Yep.
usually in the affirmative, and then go from there, and then spell out whether it passes and if it fails, what it fails.
I'll make a motion to approve ZBA 24-02.
Motion's been made to approve,
I'll second.
made and seconded by Chuck. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I go for it.
What's that?
I'm okay with.
With the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind? We've been doing
Roll call?
votes.
Roll call.
Yeah.
So there's a motion to approve based on the 5 criteria. Okay,
There's a motion to approve, yes.
motion to approve. Okay, Chuck Mitchell,
I vote no.
Brian Pease,
No.
Steve Bunce,
Yes.
and Jim Cropsey,
No.
and Brian. Sorry,
I vote
man
no.
of the board. Matt, sorry.
My no is because because of 1 and the first half of 5, or sorry, the
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yep.
Okay, is everybody in agreement on the 1 and 2 is the reason for denial?
I am.
Being a part of the reason.
Sure.
Big part.
Because you're gonna have to put it in, you gotta
Yep.
put it in.
Yep.
1 and 2, because they have to meet all 5 criteria. Okay. All right,
So the motion does not pass. Thank you for coming in tonight. I wish you luck sorting it out. Our next order is approving the minutes of November 21st.
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Motion's been made to approve November 21st minutes.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The
I
minutes
think-
pass.
I think I did notice a typo on our application though.
There is one that I keep meaning to
Yes.
bring up. Thank you.
The extra the.
There's a
Okay.
couple of them then. Every time they read it into the thing, I think to myself,
on the
I gotta
questions, you
mention.
mean?
Yeah,
On the
I can't
application.
remember what it was.
One is, shouldn't it be under owing to a special condition of the property that distinguish it? Shouldn't it be distinguishes?
I don't know,
Well,
these
the-
are probably read out of the RSA. I think I didn't write.
Oh,
I'll look on the RSA and see how it's worded. Owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship. That one is the question?
Yep,
Yes.
that one. Yep.
I'll look at the RSA and see if they,
Copied and pasted right out of there.
I think that's how they made
The
these, yeah.
distinguisher, yeah.
And then explain how, if the criteria is subparagraph A, should that
In,
be in
should be
subparagraph
in,
A?
right?
Where's that come from?
Comes from the RSA.
That's funny.
Yeah,
And these
so
have
if
been,
it's
I think-
misspelled there, we may have to misspell it.
Forever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't generate these, but they've been around a long time. I will check it though for you. Thank you.
Any other business?
Nope.
No. All right. That
That's good.
was fast. Any
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ryan made a motion to adjourn. It
I will second.
made and seconded. Any discussion? Those in
Second,
favor say aye.
second. Oh, aye.
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 All right.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:30.
Wow. In and out. I know. Do we have a hole puncher here?
Oh, yeah.
I have so many things. I just have this sloppy fold.
That's just recording. It's still recording.